Picture this. You are on LinkedIn and you are sharing content, and it seems like you're getting the reactions that you want. You've got people engaging, they're leaving comments, they're leaving all the reactions, and you are getting that warm and fuzzy feeling in your heart. The thing is that you're not getting anyone booking into your calendar or jumping into your DMs to say, I'd love to learn more. Now, here's a second scenario where you know that on LinkedIn, your target audience is there to help you to 10x your business. And you're ready to move from the other platforms and move on to LinkedIn. So, what you immediately do is you copy and paste the posts. You are showing up, but you didn't lay down the foundation. And what's happening are crickets. Now, if this is what you are going through while you are here on LinkedIn, growing your business or showing up as the thought leader, if this is what you're going through, then you want to stay tuned in because today our topic on Strategize Your Business is who's really watching you on LinkedIn. Welcome to Strategize Your Business Online. I am Dee Boswell-Buck, and I am the LinkedIn strategist at Boswell-Buck Creative Consulting. And this show is all about giving you a dose of business inspo so that you can have more confidence to show up in the online space. So this is going to be a little bit different. I am going to be sharing a slide presentation. And this is a presentation that's going to take you through what it is that you should look for on LinkedIn to make sure that you are getting in front of the right target audience. Now, first of all, I wanted to share with you what inspired me to do this LinkedIn Live. Again, who's really watching you on LinkedIn? And this is what inspired me. So, over the summer, I created a download, and this download was my best performing download ever. Now, the download is called X-Ray Your LinkedIn Audience. And within 2 weeks, I had 42 people registered to get the download. They watched it. They even went through the automation, and some of them reached out. And I was like, wow, a lot of people are very interested in being on LinkedIn, but they're not too sure if their content is hitting home. So that was the first reason why I wanted to do this live. Another thing is that I have a LinkedIn membership called Content Lab, and this was also inspired by some of the questions that come up in the group. Now, some of the things that the group is doing is that they are showing up on other platforms, but they want to get onto LinkedIn to get in front of a new audience. And also because they've got some new programs, they've got some new services, they've got some new products as well. And they know that LinkedIn is where this target audience would want that is. The thing is that what they're doing is that they were taking the content from the other platforms and sharing them the exact same way. And many people I see doing that, whether they were in Content Lab, or maybe, they're people that I follow on LinkedIn, or I follow them on other platforms, and they didn't lay down the foundation. And I just thought that this is definitely a really great live to have. And then we all know about automation tools, right? We know about those tools that help us to share our content across many platforms. It's a great way to work smart. And what was happening was that I would see individuals sharing content on a platform that they were doing very well. They've already established themselves on that other platform. And then they would use the automation tool to share the exact same way on LinkedIn. Again, another way the foundation wasn't set was that they didn't have any posts that introduced themselves, and they didn't do some other things, which I'm going to go through. So that is the reason why. So again, this is interactive. And you know what? I mean, you see me talking with my hand, but I always have a handy pen handy here just so I can make notes. But if you have any questions, or if you have anything to chime in, or if you want to just share what it is that you're going through, feel free to share it in the comments. So first of all, before I pull up my presentation, I just want to say hello again to Ms. Misha, and hello, Patricia. Hello. Oh, so I'm going to say last names now. Hello, Patricia Brooks. And hello, Buck Gordon. Now I am going to pull up. And if everybody can if some people can let me know if you see the presentation starting. It is called Who's Really Watching You on LinkedIn. I have a picture of me doing the whisper pose, and I'm going to take you through how it is that you can review your LinkedIn analytics to make sure that you are being seen by the right people. Now, here is something that I would love for everybody to think about if they're just getting started on LinkedIn, or it's always a great idea just to do a deep dive into what are your goals when you are showing up here on LinkedIn. Now, I go through this for myself, and this is a form that I share with the members in the Content Lab. And this is what we use just to ensure that our presence on LinkedIn is going to align with our company goals. So here we have in the first column, future clients, because your clients are here on LinkedIn. So your future clients, describe them. So is your future client, describe them, are they this type of person? They work in this type of organization, or they're a different type of individual and they're going through some personal challenges, or perhaps they are an individual who needs coaching, or they need help in terms of landing a new career. Whatever it is of who your target audience is, who is that next future client, you can take this form and do some notes to describe them. Now, notice I only have 3 spots here, and I have 3 spots just because I really think it's very important that you keep offers tight, and also be very focused as to who it is that your target audience is. I think we have all heard that saying that if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. So your future clients, describe them, and maybe you've got a couple of people who can fit into a box because they've got some things that are very familiar. So just list them all in there. The next column is who are your future collaborators? Now, often people come onto LinkedIn and they just think, I'm going to be here on LinkedIn and book the next client. But you know what? Being an entrepreneur is a wonderful thing, and sometimes it can be a little bit challenging. So I always think to myself, where is it that I can create partnerships? Or where is it that I can get onto other people's stages? So a future collaborator could be another individual who could be a great referral source. So, for instance, you might be a realtor. And if you're a realtor, you might want to connect with individuals who are mortgage brokers, or you might want to connect with others who are in the financial world and things like that, because there is really great collaboration there. Or perhaps you do a great job of getting up on LinkedIn and sharing on other platforms. But wouldn't it be great to get on a podcast? Well, you can use LinkedIn to look for podcast hosts. And something I do want to say with regards to that, that is something that I do help my clients with. They have found many podcast hosts, but I'm going to share this tip for you that sometimes people don't update their LinkedIn profile and it'll say podcast host. So I just wanted to let you know that There's always great opportunity for you if you go off of the platform. So if you find somebody who is a podcast host and their podcast is aligned with the type of business that you do, just go off of LinkedIn and look up their podcast, listen to an episode, and also make sure that they are still sharing episodes because you'd like to send out a connection request to somebody who has a podcast that is current and hasn't been shared like a year ago. And then think about like what are your top three products and services? Now, I love to say top three. The reason why I say top three is that often people have way too many services, way too many products. And the thing is that when they are sharing all of that information on LinkedIn or on any other platform, people do not remember them for what it is that they do. So if you keep things really tight, then people will say, aha, that person is the business coach. Aha, that person is the other type of individual because they're always speaking about these top three things that align with these top three clients. And then that way, your tight message is going to get in front of the right individuals. Another thing that I talk about the top three is that this is a really great opportunity for you to really ensure that you are doing what you love. Now, when I started to focus on the top three things, what happened was that I started to just streamline my offerings. There was one time that I had about 8 offers, okay? I streamlined my offers and went down from 8 to 6, from 6 to 5, and now I focus on about 3 offers. And those are the only things that I speak about. So now it makes it easy for people to refer me. It also makes it easy for people to remember what it is that I do. And also, I am running a business in a way that I really love because I am focusing on the three things. So, off to the next slide. Now, this is where I'm going to walk you through how to view who your current audience is. So remember, I mentioned that I had a free download called X-Ray Your LinkedIn Audience. So right now I am in front of a laptop, and you might be watching on a laptop, or if you're watching on a device or a phone, then you might want to circle back a little bit later. This is going to be up here on Replay Land on LinkedIn, but take your phone, and I have screenshots for what it is that you can take a look at. So on your phone, go to your LinkedIn profile. And when you go to your LinkedIn profile, you are going to go to not profile views, but the next one, which is your impressions. And I should have had my glasses on. So let me just make sure that I'm hitting the right spot because my screen here is pretty small. And I just want to make sure that I am directing you to the right spots. Give me a moment. I am going on. Okay. So you're going to go onto your LinkedIn profile and you are going to choose post impressions. After you choose post impressions, you're going to tap on that. It's going to open up, and it's going to open up to a page that says analytics. Now you've got two choices here. You can either look at your posts or you can look at your audience. We're not looking at our posts. I would love for you to tap on the top tab that says audience. So I'm using my finger to do that. And what's going to happen is that you are now going to be able to see your total followers. Now, if you have a large amount of followers, if you've got a small amount of followers, I would say let's not get excited about this number here because this is all about ensuring that the right followers are following us on LinkedIn, and not so much just following us, but they're also seeing what it is that we are sharing so that we can have more people reaching out. So we are on audience. It's going to show you the total amount of followers. And just FYI, You can toggle. So right now you probably see that it says past 7 days. You can toggle it to 14, you can toggle it to 28 days. I would say let's go ahead and toggle it to 28 days. You can do 14 if you want. And then there's a button at the bottom that says show results. Now I'm walking you through, and if you're not using the device that you would use to comment, feel free to say, I'm following you, Dee, or share an emoji, but I don't want you to like jump out of the screen if you're listening in. So we are now in our audience. We have toggled to 14 days, or we have toggled to 28 days. And then I would love for you to down scroll up ever so slightly. And that is in picture number 3. So picture number 3, it is showing like a graph. And then when you scroll a little bit, it is going to be showing you top demographics of followers. So if you are there, I just want to explain a bit about what these demographics mean. And when you take a look, there's going to be a little question mark there that you could tap on if you ever need to get refreshed on this. So the demographic information about the people who follow you, this includes your connections, and it also includes those who are not connected to you. So sometimes you will have, of course, you've got people who are connected to you, but you may also have followers. So these are the people who may have sent you a connection request, and maybe you said, I'm not going to accept it, I'm going to decline it. And if you decline it, then what happens is that they remain being your follower until they've removed themselves off. Or perhaps there are people who really enjoy your content and they just end up following you but not sending you a connection request. So that is who these demographics describe. Off to the next slide. So slide number 4, after you see top demographics, right below that, you're going to see a button with an arrow, and that button says show all. So when you tap on that, this is where the fun begins. I like a lot of data, so hopefully you will find this as much fun as I do. So I'm just going to say to you just to use your finger and do a little bit of a scroll, and then you can come back to the top. So you're going to see job title, you're going to see location, you're going to see industry, seniority, company size. You'll even see company. I'm not going to worry too much about company. So let's go right back to the top, and then we're going to be right up there with job title. So if you remember in like that, one of the first slides there, I mentioned that you should do a deep dive as to who is your ideal client and what is it that they're going through. And also something that you want to think about is like what would be their title? And this is very important because let's say if you had like an offer that was 4 figures or an offer that was 5 figures, then a title would be very important. So for instance, you might be somebody who has a product for moms. And I have heard that, or you have a product for dads or for parents. Well, that's one way to describe your demographic. But if they're on LinkedIn and they are employed or if they own a business, what is their title? Because their title is going to reflect the type of income that they may possibly be earning. So when we look at the job title, I would love for you to let me know, and you can let me know now, or you could let me know later. You could let me know, for instance, like what are the titles that you are seeing? Do you see titles like founder, owner, chief executive officer? So those are the titles that I am seeing right now, but I am also looking at my LinkedIn account, okay? And that is very much aligned because I help entrepreneurs, I help business leaders. So it only makes sense that I'm going to see the titles of founder, owner, CEO, president, co founder. So, do these titles that you see align with the type of clients that you serve. The next one is location. Now, your business might be location specific, or you may be able to offer your service across the globe. Now, if it's location specific, then this part is very important. So, for instance, the other day I wrote a LinkedIn newsletter called If I Was a Landscaper, and why it is that if I was a landscaper, why it is that LinkedIn would be important for me to be on. So, think about it like if you are somebody who is a realtor, or if you are somebody who is in construction, then maybe it's very important that you have the right types of locations being shown. If you are a therapist, and maybe as a therapist, you're only allowed to practice within a specific location, a specific province, a specific state, then location is going to be very important to you. So, does that location align for you? I'm going to share a quick example where once I had a client who is a dog walker. She has a dog walking company, very successful. And when we took a look at the locations, her content or the followers that were following her on LinkedIn, and by the way, these are all describing the demographics, right? So the followers, they were people in New York, people in Montreal. The thing is that those were not the areas that she served. In fact, they were like in a completely different state, a completely different province. So you want to ensure that the location is going to be aligned with who it is that you serve. And some of the things that you can do to ensure that is that when you're creating content, you might want to on occasion share that you serve people in Toronto, Ontario. You serve people in Buffalo, New York. So have those keywords in there. Another thing is that you want to ensure that you've got your LinkedIn profile optimized, and also you can use keywords in your about section. Perhaps they might be, you can share a keyword having to do with location in your headline. So think about how it is that you can use more keywords. And I'm also going to share a little bit later how you can tighten up that location. Now, the next one is industry. So people who are working in specific industries, now, does that align with who it is that you serve? Now, for instance, if I was somebody who did landscape construction, then the industry that I would want to see would be things like commercial real estate. I would like to see that as an industry. So, what types of industry is it that you are seeing as you do the scroll, looking at your demographics, and does it align? So, for instance, I have here for myself professional training and coaching, business consulting and services, advertising services, wellness and fitness, financial services, because that usually describes the demographics of individuals who are following me. And by the way, you will notice that it is showing you like the top 4 or 5. You might have some more, and that's totally okay. But these are the top 4 or 5. And then if that matches the people that you serve, you are on your way to seeing that as you x-ray your LinkedIn audience, you're on the right track. The next would be seniority. So does this align? Now, are you serving people who are in senior positions? For instance, as I mentioned, that if your offers are like high ticket, then you want to see senior positions. However, let's say you are in a specific industry yourself, and you have offers that are great for getting in front of people who are at mid-level. So maybe you're looking to reach out to people who are in different human resources positions. They don't have to be the top level, but perhaps when it comes to reaching out to who the decision makers are, you are looking for people with specific titles, and those specific titles end up in certain seniorities. So think about like, does that align? And then the last one I want you to take a look at is your company, the company size. So not your company size. So for me, I have here for company size, companies of 1 to 10, because I serve a lot of like small business owners, and they are sometimes company owner of one, or they've got a small and mighty team. And then I also serve organizations and companies that are like mid-level, so 11 to 50 employees. So what is it that you see? Like, if your service is great for people who are in companies of 51 to 200, or perhaps your what it is that you do is great for individuals who are employed at organizations of 1,000 to 5,000. However, it's showing you that the greater percentage is 1 to 10, then you know that you've got to make some changes with regards to how you're showing up on LinkedIn. You've got to reset the foundation so that you can change this. So, like later on, let me know, like, where is it that you land? Now, if it turns out that what you're seeing here doesn't really align, don't worry. I am going to like move forward here and share some more ways for you to change that. Now, one of the things that you can upgrade your audience. So when I talk about upgrading your audience, I mean ensuring that that audience is going to start to align. So this will be the next steps if things are not working out. And one of the ways that you can do this is by sharing meaningful content. Now, I don't know about you, but I've heard that term a lot. And I just want to let you know that I'm going to let you know what I think meaningful content is. Because sometimes we hear the jargon and we hear the words and we're like, okay, I'll do that. Now, when I think about meaningful content, I think about what's in it for me, but not what's in it for me, the person who's posting, more about what's in it for the person who is receiving. What's in it for the audience who's receiving? How is it going to affect them? How is it going to make them feel? So, here are some examples of individuals who are like in the content lab, or they're individuals that I work with. And I'm going to shout out their names so that you can take a look at their content. I really feel that these are great examples of meaningful content. So, first of all, we've got Jody Tingling. And what she does is she is somebody who focuses on helping people find the career of their dream, like that right transformation. And with Jody, you would go through her content and you are going to see that when it comes to sharing content, she is very descriptive in what it is that she shares. And she also talks about pain points. So when we talk about pain points, it doesn't have to be painful, but it's just calling out what people are going through so that your content is going to be helpful and it's also going to resonate. So this is what happens when you share that type of content. You automatically align with your audience. When people are on LinkedIn, they are using LinkedIn as a search engine. It is a search engine. And they are doing things like putting in what it is that they are looking for. For instance, they might be looking for a web designer. They might be looking for a career coach. If you've got these right words and you speak about this in your content, they are going to find you, they are going to follow you, and they're going to take a look at your content, and that could be your future customer. And then we've got Brooke Gordon, and she equips leaders to build thriving teams. And Brooke here, she is sharing a post here about fundraising that she did. Now, it's her content is very warm, it's very descriptive, and it definitely comes from the heart. And I highly recommend that you take a look at Brooke Gordon. And then we've got Sheila Cummins, and Sheila Cummins is a business coach for women entrepreneurs. And in this picture here, it's a screenshot of a video. And what she did in the video was that she was talking about a movie that she was one of the people featured in. It's a movie called How She Dares. And she was sharing about the movie. And also, it was a great way to highlight the movie and get more people to buy a ticket to it. Now, this one here was a video. And this video here actually got like a few shares too. And then we've got Anya Levine, and she is somebody who helps people to transform their homes, so or their office space. So it's a place that they really love to work in and a place that they really love to live in. Now she is very new to LinkedIn, and she is sharing content that not only shares really great advice, but also shares the whys. So take a look at her content as well. Now, the second thing that you can do to change your audience around to upgrade it is that build your network. Now, often what people do is that they come onto LinkedIn and they forget that it is a networking platform. Yes, people, it's a networking platform. Like, not only when you go out to networking events, you network, but whenever you're at those events, one of the questions that people say often is, are you on LinkedIn? So you can follow the people that you've met on LinkedIn, or on LinkedIn, you can take a look for your target audience. You can take a look for the people who would be the future clients, looking for them based on their titles, and then if you need some more based on their titles, also the location, and also there's other things that you can look for that we've seen within the demographics that you can key into the search bar. And when you start doing that search and sending out a connection request, because you're sharing the meaningful content and you've got the optimized LinkedIn profile, they're most likely to want to accept the request. And then what will happen is that your audience is going to change. And because you are curating, yes, folks, because you are curating this audience, you're curating this network of people who are your future clients and also your future collaborators. What will happen is that what you're sharing in terms of content, it's going to resonate, and you are going to have people actually engaging. But I talked about the fact that people are engaging, but they were not the right audience, and therefore it's crickets. Well, because you are building your network with intention, you are going to have the right people engaging. They're also going to be the right people who are sharing, and they are also going to be the right people who are going to say, hey, I'd love to learn more. I'd love to book into your calendar. Now, here is some fun analytics, and this is something that you can take a look at. I would say after this live, take a look at your most recent posts and take a look at the analytics of your most recent posts. So let me walk you through how to do that. Now go to your most recent post, and at the bottom of your most recent post, you're going to see underneath where it shares, where it has your profile picture, where it says like, comment, repost, and send. There is a blue link there that says view. So when you tap on that, that is going to give you a view of those who have seen that recent post or whatever post that you have shared. Now, when you take a look at it, it's going to show you discovery, and it's going to show you impressions and members reached. So the impressions are I want to make sure I get this right. So the impressions are the number of times a post was shown on LinkedIn. So that means if somebody gets onto LinkedIn and they're scrolling and they scroll by, that's an impression. And then members reached would be the number of times that a member or a page, yes, pages are following people, a number of times a page or a person has seen that post. And it doesn't duplicate that number, by the way. So if one person saw that post, then that will be a one. If they saw it again, that's not going to be a two. Now, the next thing is your profile activity, and you're going to take a look. And now these are what really excites me when I look at my post analytics. Yes, I get the warm and fuzzy feelings when I see the number of reactions and when I see the comments. But again, these are the things that really mean a lot more to me, even though I'm really grateful for the other ones. So I love when I see that it says that there's a number beside profile viewers from this post, that means that your post was so moving that people felt like they needed to learn more about you, and they left the post and they went to take a look at your profile and learn more about you. And then another one that's quite exciting is followers gained from this post. So everything that I'm talking about here, you can see it in the presentation. In the very first one, I circled in yellow profile viewers from this post. And then at the bottom, we can see that somebody actually saved this post. I love to save posts on LinkedIn so I can go back to it. Or also, I think to myself, sometimes this is not a service for now, but definitely something for later. Or I really want to make sure I get back to this person to book a call, so I save it. So those are the two circles. Now, in the next example, we have an example, and these are like from my clients, they are anonymous. We see that it is circled profile viewers from this post, followers gained from the post. And then we have, oh, I can't really see, but we see the number of saves. And I think that we have is the number of reposts. So that means that people are reposting. To me, that's another way of saying other people's stages, right? That means that you are getting in front of their audience. And then I have another example right beside it. And again, it's showing like the numbers that are circled there. And at the very bottom, we also have sends on LinkedIn. So that means on the third one, we have it where people were like sending the post to other individuals' DMs on LinkedIn. And then on the other one, we have like the profile activity again, and I'm just repeating everything. So take a look at your analytics. And when you see that these types of things are happening on the back end of your LinkedIn post, you know that you are on the right track. So we're coming up at the end, but I took you through the slide presentation, and I have an assignment for you. First assignment is whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, my assignment is to you to review your audience analytics. And then once you've reviewed your audience analytics, there is no shame, folks. We're all learning from each other, but share your findings in the comments. When you share your findings in the comments, we can all learn from each other. And when you share your findings, you don't have to share a screenshot, or you can. You can just let me know what it is that you see, and feel free to ask me a question about it. And I will definitely give you some insight on there. I promise to come back. But please make sure that you tag me. So you can tag me at Denise Boswell, and then that way I will get the notification. And as you're doing that, you are learning more and you are on your way to not only x-raying your LinkedIn audience, but making sure that your content is getting in front of the right people so that you are getting the results that you want so that you can show up as the go-to in your industry. If this interests you and if you got the results from this call, meaning that you learned quite a bit, feel free to send me a DM. I did a actually a webinar, not so much a webinar. I did like an online session actually. Thank you. I did an online session in April, and I still have the recording. And this online session is called Glow Up Your LinkedIn. And it's all about the best things that you can do and the best, easiest things that you can do to improve your LinkedIn profile. If you would like to have the recording, then let me know. Just jump into my DMs and share the best email. And I'm going to be transparent here and let you know that I will be adding you to my email list, but it's things like this that I share to my email list, so you will always be learning. So if you're interested in the free recording, Glow Up Your LinkedIn, you will also get to hear the questions that other people ask. And also, people found that they were able to optimize their LinkedIn within like less than an hour. So thank you very much for watching. I am going to go